this is how I would get a practice from 0 to 300 a week, and I truly believe 3 months minimum. This is how I do it. Here's one of Ryan's pet peeves. One of the worst things you can say to Ryan is this. When I say, how was the campaign? When I say, how's the campaign? Somebody say, okay, how'd the talk go? And someone will go, oh, it was okay. We only got 5. I'm like, oh, great. Tell me more about that. You only got 5. What do you mean by that? So, tell me about the campaign. I'm like, oh, no, we only got 5. I'm like, cool. How much did you spend? Oh, we spent 250. Oh, cool. So you spent 250 pounds. Awesome. How many people came to the talk? We had 15 people come to the talk. Oh, cool. So you got 15 leads, right? You had 5 new patients from it. Or how much did they pay on the day? They each paid $40 on the day. So 5 times 40 is 200, right? Cool. So you've already got, if you go 250 minus 200, so it cost you 10 pounds a new patient, first of all. So 10 pounds per customer from a customer acquisition perspective, would you say that is a good fee to be paying? Okay, you have to change your mindset on, there's genuinely what are you prepared to pay to purchase a customer? What are you prepared to pay to purchase a customer? Right? So, first of all, they're like, oh, it went okay. Okay, great, cool. So what's your normal conversion like? Oh, my normal conversion is like about, let's call it 50%. So let's say 3 out of the 5 convert. And I say, oh, what's your lifetime value? And I say, oh, my lifetime value, you should know all these stuff, by the way. You should know what your customer lifetime value is. Let's say my customer lifetime value is, let's be conservative, let's say it's 800. So what's 8? So 8, 16, 24. So you made £2,400 and you spent 50. How do you think that's a pretty good return on investment? So the next question I want to say to this room is, why are you not doing it more? Okay, let me say that again. Why are you not doing it more? So, money math. You have to understand the money math. I remember going to a conference with Ryan Dice, and he put up something on the board, and he said, this is how you win. The person that is willing and able to spend the most to acquire a customer wins. Let me say that again. The person that is willing and able to spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. So what is that? So why am I saying that? Because I don't want you to spend a lot of money, but are you willing and are you crucially able to spend a lot? And in New Patient Avalanche Module 1, we talk a lot about understanding the numbers. If you haven't done New Patient Avalanche, you've got to do it. So here are the numbers you need to understand. First of all, what is your lifetime value? What is your cost per lead? What is your, it's different terms for this, cost per customer or acquisition, cost per acquisition of a customer. Those are very important terms. Another one is, what is your velocity of return? Okay, so first one, lifetime value, which is basically your PVA multiplied by your average adjustment fee in some way, shape, or form. Or average visit fee. In your practice, Abram, it will be a little bit different. It will be, with the products and services that you do as a whole, what is the lifetime value of the average customer coming through the front door? You have to know that. The reason you have to know that is because it drives a lot of your decision-making processes. How much can I afford to spend to acquire a customer? And this is where those of you that are self-employed and not running teams get to cheat. And I always say this. Everyone in this room, you should be wiping the floor with me. I just want to be clear. You should be kicking my ass. If you, especially self-employed, your results you should be trouncing me. Because if you talk about willing and able, who can afford to spend the most to acquire a customer? If you're self-employed, if you've seen the customer, you or me, who can afford to spend the most? you can afford to spend 20 times more than me. But then the question is, why aren't you? Like most people are just not. So let me go back. This is how I would get a practice from 0 to 300 a week, and I truly believe 3 months minimum. This is how I do it. I would just spend 20 times more. Could you check if the heating's off? I'll just spend 20 times more than what everyone else is prepared to spend on a weekly basis. So if you look at my skill set or what I like doing, as I like speaking, this is genuinely what I do. This is all I do. I'd go health talk. So who's done a really good health talk recently? Ed, you did a killer one. You did one. You guys did a nice one. What are you guys spending? Ad spend per? I know you're done for you. We do it for you, but it's typically from an ad spend perspective. So we have an agency too. We do this for you guys if you want it. But typically we're spending anywhere from 200 to 500, 600. Okay, great. I would, if it was me in the practice, I would be prepared to spend at least 1,000 to 2,000 a week. I would be prepared to spend at least 1,000 to 2,000 a week doing this. So that would make most of you in the room feel very uncomfortable. Yes or yes? Hello? Yes. So here's why I can do it. This is why most of you in the room can do it. First of all, when it comes to, I'm just going to use this one example because I know that for a fact that nothing will ever emulate the quality and quantity of leads that you'll get from talks. Nothing will ever emulate the quality specifically. Once they've been through a talk, then they've sat with you for 45 minutes, then they decide to use your service. Like they've made, the more hoops you make a customer jump through before they use your service, the higher the quality. So the more hoops you make them jump through before they use your service, the higher the quality there. I can stop shouting. So you want the more hoops before they use your service, the better for quality. And there is going to be times in your practice when you're like, I really need to limit the amount of Groupons I'm seeing and things like that. There's a time and place for those, but specifically in your practice, like Belinda, me and you had a conversation similar where it was like, right, so Belinda got very good at her marketing, doubled her practice already, and she's just amazing. If you need to spend time with her, please make sure you connect with her. What she's doing in her practice is phenomenal in such a short space of time. And we had a conversation about looking at this customer acquisition cost and going, we now want to limit the amount of new patients coming in on a weekly basis. So now we only want to see, for Belinda, at talks, instead of selling the voucher for £30, we're selling the voucher for whatever. We're doubling it. So that at a talk, instead of getting 10 sign-ups, we actually only want 6 sign-ups, but at £80. Because the biggest challenge you have as one-on-one salespeople is the limit, the finite amount of selling time you have. You've only got how many new patient slots a week? You've got to make sure that if you're already full, first you've got to fill them. First you have the ability to fill them, but then once you fill them, then you have to protect those with all your might. And then you have to go through a process of going, how am I warming them up before they come? How are they the best quality lead? Best quality, am I educating them before they arrive, etc.? We're going to do that now. But here's what I want to ask you guys. The most important math you can do in your business right now is what allows me to spend the most to acquire a customer? What allows me to spend the most to acquire a customer? And I remember in Module 1 also we talk about, Dan Kennedy has this slide, and he's like, one of the keys, one of the biggest failures that we have in business is our unreasonable expectations of acquiring a new lead or customer, our unreasonable expectations. So let me go through the math. If I did spend $2,000, okay, so you can definitely, if we can put 15 to 20 people in the room with 200 to 400, do you guys think if I spend $2,000 a week, I can at least put 25 to 30 people in the room? How do you guys think? Hello? Yes. Cool. So let's say I spend $2,000 a week and I put 40 registrants, let's say 30 show up. Of that, let's say I know my close rate on the talk is going to be closer to 80%, but let's call it an average of, let's say, at the talk, 20 people take the voucher. So that's 20 new patients. Let's say I only convert 10 of those of a customer lifetime value of, what's your middle number going to be? What's like 24 visits, etc. Are you looking at like close to 1,000, etc.? So I'm getting 10 new patients every single week at a lifetime value of anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. So all of a sudden I'm making 10 grand a week just on the front end if that's how I run my practice. Now, that's a customer acquisition cost of, or cost per lead. So these are the numbers you need to know. If I'm looking at this campaign, you might be a bit lost right now, but let me run through the campaign again. If I'm spending 2,000 a week, and I got 30, so what's 2,000 divided by 30? 66. So this is 66 per lead, right? But to get a customer, so now that's 36 per lead. On the day, 20 pay £40 the voucher. So what's 20? Someone help me with the calculator. What's 20 times 40? 800. So what is 2,000 minus 800? Divided by 20? So I have customer acquisition cost of, you say 60? 60. So it literally cost me £20 to get a customer, okay, which is a new patient, a paying new patient. Now, okay, so £20, if you minus that, then if you go 10 conversions, and the conversion, for instance, in this case, is a lifetime value of about £1,000, then we're going, okay, fine, I spent 1,800. I spent 1,800 in total, 1,200 in total, and I made 10,000. I'm oversimplifying this right now, but you guys understand the math works at 2 grand a week. You guys understand, yes? Yes. So the question is, why are we not doing it? Because of fear. Because we also don't know our math. We don't know our math.